AITA for saying I will never do a double wedding with my sister? I got engaged in 2018. I am getting married later this year. We have pretty much everything planned. My sister, a year younger than me, got engaged last year and announced her wedding day as the same as mine a while ago. All our cousins said they would go to my wedding. This led to her and my parents reaching out after being low contact with them for years. We'll explain more in just a sec, and saying, we should do a double wedding and she won't miss out. I found it such a ridiculous request and said so and told them I would never do a double wedding with her. They act like I was so rude. BG, sister has always been an attention hog. Our parents encouraged it. But she's also the mean girl. When we were kids, the adults really loved her and thought she was such a perfect girl, but to me, to our cousins, she was awful. She was a bully. A few times she would actively tell me when she was planning to take attention from me on my birthday or my graduation. She was like that with our cousins as well. Sometimes it was getting attention on her and getting whoever's birthday it was in trouble. She made up so many lies about us. So you ended up low contact with them, her and my parents. As adults. I know from my cousins she hasn't changed at all. Last time I saw her was before COVID and she tried to say I stole her food. So I said what I said when asked to do the double wedding, and the flying monkeys have started coming for me, in the form of aunts and uncles, who think I'm selfish for refusing. They say I might have had the date first, but I could accommodate since my sister is always left out by me and my cousins. I was accused of being a bully for saying I would never do a double wedding with her the way I did. They said it was so nasty. AITA? AITA for calling my parents sexist and telling them to blame themselves for the things they aren't happy about? My parents have 3 kids together. There's me 19F, my brother 18 meters and our younger sister 12F. My brother and I are the closest of the 3 of us. We were always friends as well as siblings, and he has always been my ally. My sister is someone I have a complicated relationship with. As the baby of the family, she was obviously a bit spoiled when SHE came along, especially when she was a surprise baby for our parents. But once she was a little older, 4 or 5, and she had a lot of energy and was often very hyper, our parents forced me to take on a role as a caregiver of sorts. I was expected to help feed her and calm her down before bed. I was told I needed to walk her to school once she started. If I was going to see friends, she was always forced along. The more time she was on me, the more she wanted me, and the more my parents made me include her. They never expected that from my brother. Even told us to our faces that of course sisters will be closer and will take care of little sisters. That it's not a brother job. They made everything surrounding my sister for me a chore. I was never hanging out with her wanted to, but because I had to take care of her. Had to keep her safe on the way to school. Had to make sure she ate, and this would be when our mom was home, BTW. I had to take her along with me as if I was a single mom without childcare. So my feelings for my sister are complicated, and the sad thing is she considers me her second mom as well as her sister. She used to call me mommy sis. As she grew older, she would describe me as her sister mom to people. I have found it hard to truly maintain a relationship with her because I always want space and time from her to figure out my feelings, but know it would hurt her if I did take that time, because she is so used to me being around. What happened is my brother and I went on a weekend trip with some friends of ours. My parents found out and told me I should have taken my sister along, and how awful it was that I was pulling away from my sister and spent far less time with her than it should be. They said they can clearly see I love my brother more, and that's wrong. I snapped and told them they were sexist holes for only expecting that kind of role from me, and that if they want to blame anyone for the way things are with my sister and I, then they should blame themselves for forcing me to take care of her when I was just her sister, not her parent. They told me I was not the only kid ever asked to care about young sibling Sand and the hole for blaming them. AITA?
AITA for asking my fiancé to not wear his brother's necklace on our wedding day? Note: me and my fiancé get along really well with everything else, but we've just had a disagreement with this. He wears his late brother's wedding ring on his right hand, and his brother's necklace. I can get behind the ring because you don't really notice it as much, but the necklace is more noticeable. It has his brother's wife, and daughter's initials engraved on it. I asked him if he'd take off the necklace just for our wedding day. I also have a necklace I got as gift from my mom that I'm not wearing on the day because it doesn't go with my dress. It's just one day and he can wear the ring if he wants. My fiancé refused and said it's his brother's Anda is going to wear it.
AITA for not waiting for my wife to come home from a trip? My wife was away on a girls' trip for 5 days. I took care of our young children, 7 and 2.5. I was happy for her to go and have fun and happy to be with the kids. We both travel and it's fine. That said, it's tiring of course, especially over a weekend, and I wake up early. My wife landed at 7 p.m. on a Sunday night. With delays in customs, I had no idea when she was going to get home and neither did she. I was exhausted and fell asleep at 8. She was upset that I didn't wait up and told me she washered and I should have waited. AITA for not waiting up. Additional info. I was not supposed to pick her up. She wanted me to be up to be with her. Which is a lovely sentiment. AITA for telling my sister if she was my stepmom I wouldn't name my kid after her either. My sister has been married to her husband Nigel for 21 years and they have been together for about 23 years. Nigel was a widower of 3 years when he met my sister. His kids at the time of them meeting were 6F and 8 meters. Nigel's late wife's family was around a lot. My sister hated it. From the very early days it was clear she was toxically jealous of Nigel's late wife and the kids' mom. About how strange it was the kids, who didn't remember her, had her photo in their bedrooms, how her stepdaughter had a locket with a photo of her mom, dad and brother in it. I remember back then asking how it was strange. Her mom was loved and Nigel and his late wife's family likely didn't want the kids to not know they were loved by their mom. She said that was her job now. I told her it was healthy to feel that jealous and put out over a mom being remembered. Think of how she would feel before mom died. Honestly, I had a lot of respect for Nigel for the first 2 or 3 years because his kids seemed to be his priority and he seemed to still love and care about his late wife and not want to erase her but was also ready to be married to someone else. Had seen a lot of far more awful scenarios. But then he started letting my sister push herself onto the kids and try to force out their maternal relatives. It was very clear my sister blamed the maternal relatives for neither of her stepkids coming to think of her as their mom. She didn't want to hear any other reason it could be. Now both of her stepkids are adults and her stepson became a father for the first time in January. His daughter is named after both her grandmothers. Booth's mom's name is her first name. My sister was sound happy about that. She told him it was disrespectful to her and all that rap. He told her to go *UCK herself and told her she still hadn't figured out that she wasn't his mom, she wasn't his parent, she wasn't even his real family, because he would happily dump her out of his life for good and would never feel bad about that. My sister bitched for weeks about it and then it told her if I was her stepkid, I'd do the same. That she had no respect for his mom and had no respect for his maternal family. She freaked out and told me that was a hitty thing to say and it should be on her side, because she's my sister. AITA?
AITA for letting my sister walk me down the aisle despite my fiancé and his family's objections? I, 23F, was raised by my older half-sister, 32F. I never met my dad and our mom OD'd when I was 10 and my sister was 19. My sister's dad was still in her life and was willing to support her, but not me. My sister chose to be my guardian and her father's family went low contact with her as a result. In order to raise me she gave up a lot. Her relationship with her father, college, her 20s, and so much more. A few months ago I got engaged and I told my sister that in addition to being my maid of honor, I also wanted her to be the one to walk me down the aisle. All my life she's had to fulfill so many roles for me. Big sister, mother, father, friend, that it only felt right that those multiple roles honored on one of the biggest days of my life. Sister was ecstatic and so was I, but when I brought it up with my fiancé he objected. My future in-laws are very traditional and my fiance had always expected that his wedding would be a very traditional white wedding. He said that it was great that my sister was my mo, but that her having 2 roles wasn't and that it wasn't appropriate for her to walk me down the aisle since that's usually done by a man. Apparently, his family had assumed that my future father-in-law would be the one to give me away since I don't have any male relatives. I told him that I appreciate his father being willing to fill that role, but that the one who make me the person I am is my sister and so it's right that she be the one to give me away. Turned into an argument that spread to my in-laws. My mill called me a few days ago to say that although she understand how important my sister is to me, that it's also my fiancé's wedding and I shouldn't be putting my sister before him on his day. I definitely heard her on that, but this is still important to me. At this point, my sister has said that she doesn't mind just being the mo and that she doesn't want to turn my happy day into something stressful. So now it's just me holding out and being stubborn, but I really don't want token seed on this point. Am I being me?